That goes into Arabic when the Mosai, as per the scriptures, they destroyed our temple and destroyed our servants to the people, and I was dispersed through the four corners of the earth. Let's start with Colossians 3:17.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Honored One Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him.
Right. Whatever you do in word or deed, actions, whatever you say, whatever words come out of your mouth, whatever action you take, all you do in the spirit, righteousness, keeping the Most High's commandments, as far as the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua. Let's go to Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. We all know the history of this. We came out of context of this recently, a few weeks ago, which was an era of time when after we went through the Hellenistic period with the Greeks had polluted our temple and destroyed our heritage through our resiliency with the spirit of Moses and Mashiach Yahushua. We stood up against the wickedness and regain our heritage, cleanse the temple, and really get it back to the Most High. And then we enjoyed that period of time where we had independence from any external interferences and external forces coming to interfere into our self-governance. But now, as it is, we saw it in the wilderness, where it was evident that the Most High set up Moses and Aaron and people under him to be in control of things going into the homeland. But there was always, conflicts, competition, opposition. Even in the time of peace. The same thing happened after we overcame the Greek interference. We had what? Internal conflict within our nation. To the point that we had to ask or request for external interference, man, and that's not a good thing. Whenever we request, that's what the scripture says. What? Whenever we have, differences amongst ourselves, always seek counsel amongst each other. Whenever you ask for external interference, that's when they're gonna, destroy. The camaraderie. And the sovereignty that you have within yourself. And that's what happened after we had interference, after we have independence from the Greek interference of the animal. Go ahead.
To me, it shows a sign of weakness, not being able to stand on your own 2 feet and then ask for a handout. It's just like a small sign of weakness, especially if you have enemies out there, that want to see your downfall.
Yeah, but the scripture says, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. That doesn't only apply to the other nations, like Israel right now, with their internal interference. That applied to us also back in the days. Understand? And that's what happened. That's why that was an invitation for the Romans to come in. Understand? But that's only the spirit of the Most High because of our disobedience to him. Understand? Get Matthew 2 and 1. Because what happened was, after we had about 100 years of independence and self-governance, understand? After a post-Hanukkah, understand? There was internal conflicts to the point that one faction had to, because of the competition and the internal conflict, they asked for interference from the Romans. One party asked the Romans to help them to defend them against us. We always had that. We always had that way. With the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom were in conflict. They would actually ask another nation because we were acting as if we were not the same people. We're the same people. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom were the same nation, But at one point in time, at various points in time, when they had conflict against each other, they would actually ask for a totally different nation to defend them against their own brothers. We had that. And the same thing happened during this time, like coming up to like 63 BC. Understand? Where they asked the Romans, because of internal conflict, they asked the Romans to help them defend against each other. So the Romans said, well, hey, okay, I will do that, but there's always a price for that. Yeah. Understand? There's always a price for that. I would help you defend, I will defend you against your enemy, which happen to be your own people, but that's not my problem. But what? We're gonna be in control, you know. Of course, they'll make it sound now, you know what I mean, real, you know, like as if it's in your best interest. But of course, they have their own, and I mean, ulterior motive. They make it, I mean, they're gonna pretend as if they're trying to help you, or they saw weakness and they say, okay, we can take advantage of it. We can play in this. That's what happened back to that. Coming up to 63 BC, when Pompey, when the Romans got invited into Jerusalem, got up to the point that you know what I mean, they're set up to say, we'll help you defend against the enemy eternally, but we have to be in control. To the point that they brought in King Herod, instead of King Herod as governor of Jerusalem.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 3. Know ye not that we should judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?
Right. The most we should judge angels, man, because the most are gonna put us on a lever. The most I love us so much. The most are angels basically beseeching to us. And I'm saying serving us to the point that someone says, you're gonna tell angels how to administer to your own internal affairs. And the most I put us on a level where we can have angels doing our bidding. How much more on a level we can be that we can say we can do this ourselves? So why do we need to go to heathens who have got the Most High's commandments to advise us? We are on the level, but we have to know that internally. Understand? Read.
How much more things that pertain to this life?
Right. So if we can judge angels, I mean, concerning things that are spiritual, how much more are we capable of judging things which are within our immediate realm, man? In this immediate life. Right. That's easy for us to do, but what? Because of our, blind-sightedness, we're not immediately aware of that. Right?
If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are at least esteemed in the church.
Right. So whatever internal affairs you have amongst each other, I would upon men who are worthy, men who are aware of the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, who are going to judge a matter, justly, righteously, without respect of persons. Understand? To rectify the situation and differences that we may have amongst each other. Read.
Verse 5. I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that should be able to judge between his brethren.
Right. So that's always been the case amongst our people, man. And particularly, we're talking about back in the days, that's coming out of our victory over the Greeks. We had an independence and self-governance for over 100 years, but because of internal conflicts, now we can't resolve it amongst ourselves. We chose to bring in the Romans, the heathens, thinking that they're gonna our best interest at heart, which wasn't the case. They just saw that as an opportunity where they can, hey, let's interject ourselves and take over the situation, which is what they did. That's how Rome. That's how Rome. This happened about 63 BC. That's how Rome. Because prior to that, the Romans had respect of Israel because we were such a military power. We were superpower military. When they heard of us, when the Maccabees stood up to the Greeks and the Antiochus Epiphanes and this, and I'm saying, and resisted them and destroy them. The Romans were willing to form alliance with us, man. But when they saw cracks in the wall, and I was, okay, they're slipping. Now let's get up in there now and see if we can have some take over. That's what they did. That's what they brought in Pompey. And to the point that in 38 BC, later on, who they put in? Herod the Greek. King Herod the Great. And they made him king of the Jews. Let's go back to Mark. I'll go to Matthew chapter 2 now.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1. Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born king of the Jews? For we have seen a star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him.
Right. So, you know what I mean? So when Yahushua was born, which is about 4 BC, the wise men from the east came to inquire, where is he that is born king of the Jews? Now, Herod was mad when he heard that, king of the Jews. You know why?
Because he was supposed to be. Because
the Romans had made him king of the Jews in 38 BC. That was like 34, 35 years before. So what? I am king of the Jews. So what this guy you're talking about, where is he born king of the Jews? That's not my competition right there. That someone tried to depose me, trying to overthrow me. I can't have that. I'm saying, so as mad as I when I heard that. Because as far as he was concerned, he, as per the Romans, was king of the Jews. Understand? So read on.
Verse 4. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where a Mashiach should be born.
Right. So get all the chief priests and the scribes and all that, men of learning and understanding, men knew the scriptures and the prophecies. So where this guy gonna be born? Where this king of the Jews gonna be born? We'll be discreetly about it. We'll discreet about it. Go ahead. What, Michael Hammer 2?
Yeah, Michael 23. What prophesied?
All right, go ahead. Mike 2 and 3?
Yeah,
5 and 2. I know Michael 5 and 2. You got something, man? All right, go ahead. I'll get to the guy.
No, you're right. It's 5 and 2.
Go ahead and read it.
The book of Micah, chapter 5, verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem, Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel.
Right, so these men that King Herod was inquiring of were men of understanding, of knowledge, and knowledge of the scriptures and the prophecies, who knew where the Mashiach Yahushua was to be born. Understand, who knew that the Mashiach Yahushua was to be born in Bethlehem, Ephrathah, Judah, according to the prophecies. So everyone said, okay, where is this guy going to be born? Now go back to Matthew. So these men, let's find out what these men told Herod.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 4. And when he gathered all the chief priests and the scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Mashiach should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet.
Right, for thus it is written in the prophets. What prophet was referring to? We just read it. Micah 5 and 2. Understand? Done. That's how you know there's no such thing as a New Testament and Old Testament. So whenever our ancestors spoke of the scriptures, they always reference, just like Master Yahushai, when he was in the synagogue, he was always reading the scriptures of the prophecies. Isaiah, one of the main scriptures that he always read. Right? Read.
Verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. But out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
Right, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. I don't know how someone can read this and not realize that the Mashiach Yahushua came under the nation of Israel, man. I don't know how they got all nations out of this, all people, all the old white world out of this. It says right there. Understand? Mashiach Yahushua came to be governor of Israel. Read.
Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also.
Right. Yeah, right. The simple believe in everything, but put it search on all things. Yeah, right. That's the catch. You gotta be stupid to believe that one. Yeah. Bring him. When they find him, bring him to me. Somebody worship him. Yeah. Okay. Give me another one. Read.
When they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented on him gifts, gold, and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of the Most High in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed,
yeah, exactly. So they knew where the Mashiach Yahushua was born, but of course they were on to Herod. They knew he wasn't up to any good. You know this guy, hey, who tried to fool? Come on, man. We made a discernment. Understand? We're wise men. We didn't get the title for nothing. Understand? So they knew, hey, this guy was up to no good, pretending to be interested in worshiping the Mashiach Yahushua, when in fact we were trying to find out about him so we could kill him, because hey, this guy is trying to take my title, which the Romans gave to him. So incidentally, Mashiach Yahushua was born, say, 4 BC, and short after that, according to historical records, Herod died. Understand? After he was given the title of King of the Jews. So, but before Herod died, a whole other things are going on in Herod's life. Understand? He was actually married to a Hebrew Israelite sister. Understand? That was his way. This guy was very strategic. He was trying to win over the people of Israel. To be just like here, Trump, just last year, Trump was trying to say, okay, we were talking about for the first time, the employment rate of African Americans is the highest it's ever been. Because you know that how people being so opposed to him, he's trying to win us over and all that. The same thing with Herod. He's trying to win over people. He came into a country. Understand? He's the king of the Jews. That's the title that the Romans gave him. So they're saying, he's trying to win the people over to like him and all that. But this guy was a tyrant. He was paranoid, was suspicious of everybody to the point that he even killed his wife, even his children, who thought was was against him. Understand? That's what he did. And he imposed all kind of like what we call today as curfews, and those kind of things, martial law and all that, restricting the movement of the people, restricting the freedom of the people. People are fed up with this guy. Understand? And he was aware of that. He was very suspicious of that. And so he kind of foresaw that one day these people would rise up against him. So you know what he did? He built in the outskirts of the city of Jerusalem. He built a fortress, a place of refuge in his mind. Where just in case there was some kind of uprising of our people against him, he could go there and hide out and be safe from this uprising. That place happened to be what they call it, Masada. Understand? Masada. Where was Masada located? It was located actually southeast of Jerusalem. Southeast of Jerusalem. Jordan was to the was going to be northeast of Jerusalem. Jordan was like northeast of Jerusalem, to, I guess the river, the River Jordan, the Dead Sea. So now Masada was now to the southeast of Jerusalem, which is just southwest of the Dead Sea. That's where Masada was located. That's where built a fortress. And that fortress consisted of palaces. Of course, Herod was king of the Jews. And as a king, he ain't going to build a raggedy place. He's going to build a place of magnificence. I mean, a place of splendor. I'm saying we can live in luxury, lack of luxury. At the expense, of course, of our people. Because our people were doing what? Paying tribute to the Romans through Herod. Understand? Remember the Mashiach Yahweh when the Pharisees confronted the Mashiach Yahweh and said, I mean, should we pay tribute to Caesar? Understand? And of course, Caesar was representative of Rome. Go ahead.
Reflecting on that, it's kind of like what I see today. Us Israelites, we pay our taxes at the corner stores in different places, but they don't give our money back and build up our community. They'll quickly build some other spot, way before they give our kids some school books or whatever may have you.
Exactly, because just like you were, slaves are home servant, are we a home slave? Yeah, we were.
Yes.
You were a home slave to the homeland. Just like right now, Judah, Benjamin, all the tribes that came here, the so-called Native Americans, Gad, and all that, Reuben, you're home slaves. And we're paying tributes to the so-called white men, and that money doesn't circulate back in our community. We pay it out, but it doesn't come back in. Go ahead, read what it got.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, but thou hast scattered us for reproach and a curse.
Right. We are yet this day. Yet this day. This day is far spent from back in the days. We were scattered here for our reproach, our disobedience, and our transgression against the Most High's commandments. Read on.
And a curse, and to be subject to payments.
And to be subject to payment. Exactly. That's what you are when you're in captivity. You are subject to payments. You pay, you work, and you pay tribute to your enemies for their benefit, not for yours. You're just here to serve them. And as we know, the jobs that they give to us is just barely enough to pay our bills and sustain us physically, so we can hey, so we can go back the next day or the next week and make more money to build the economy. That's how it is. We are subject to payments. Read, there's more.
According to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the other one, our power.
Right, according to the iniquities of our fathers who departed from the commandments of the Most High. That's what happened. That's why we are subject to payments, because of our transgressions against the Most High. Okay? Now go back to where you got Matthew.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold.
No, okay, okay, yeah, no. Yeah, go say about Herod. What did I?
I have a picture of Camp Masada.
Okay, yeah, okay, you can leave it up there for now. Or you can find another one. You'll try the one that you can find right here. Yeah, that one right there. Masada with that looks more like something like that. Done. So Herod built this the fortress Masada as a hideout, as a fortress, as a protected place from in a potential uprising from the Jews, from our people, because he saw how he was oppressing the people, and how the people was protesting against this oppression. So he was anticipating some kind of resistance from that. Understand? So you got a scripture with the Mashiach Yahushua with the Pharisees as the Mashiach Yahushua, but should we pay tribute to Caesar?
Yeah, Matthew 22:17.
Yeah, give me that one.
Matthew 22:17.
So all this was in doing taxes again. We can't do that. Yahushua said, you broke the Most High's law, statute, commandments. You're subject to payments, you got to pay it. To the point that, the Romans was enforcing this law so hard. They were coming on our people, and a lot of our people was resisting to the point that the Romans had to go into our temple. Because they thought in our temple, hey, that we had riches up in there. We had, all corners, gold and silver and ornaments and all those rich things. And that was a major violation for people. We jumping right now, it's like 66 BC or 65 BC, around that time. Understand? They invaded our temple. So now, these guys, these Israelites, they don't want to pay. So we got to take it by force. You see where you got all the money? We're going up in the temple. We're gonna show them who's in power. So they went up in the temple with the intention of what? Taking all whatever riches and gold and silver, whatever. They expected to find it there. But when they went there, you see, we ain't got none. We ain't got none up in there. But of course, that just the fact that they thought that they could do that
Still a violation.
was a major violation to our people. And guess what our people did? Our people rose up. Our people, who shall rose up and who shall rise up? You know what I'm saying? There's got to be something. There's got to be something. Right now, it's like most I said I'll be like a lion's whelp, but we're crouching down now. We're crouching like a lion's whelp. A lion's whelp is like full of energy, vitality, bigger. You know what I'm saying? But you're a lion's whelp, but you act like an old lion. Lion act like an old lion. Of course, the scripture says, "Wake you up on him, the Most High, the Master Yahweh shall rise up to pray." But back in the day, our people, they rose up against the Romans' interference and major violation of going into the temple, man. Understand? That wasn't
gonna fly.
The Romans, they slaughtered some of the Romans. A lot of our people got killed also. That was a war right there. Thousands of our people got killed. And of course, even though thousands of people got killed, we defeated the Romans. We defeated the Romans who were in our homeland at that time. We defeated them to the point that they had to send. I don't know if you can show you a picture of our homeland.
All right.
They had to send the backup from Syria. Syria was to the north of our homeland.
Oh, you want a map?
Yeah, I look a map. Syria was to the north of our homeland, which is which is actually, remember when Alexander died, the kingdom was divided into 4 parts amongst Alexander's 4 generals, and Syria, which was where the Antiochus Epiphanes, those Grecians, the ones who divided into a temple back then. So yeah, that's where they were from, Syria. See, Syria, Syria is to the north. Further up north, yeah. Even further up north, yeah. He's all right. Further up north. That's where so we had to send for backup from the Syrians to quell the uprising of our people against the Romans. Understand? That was in 66 BC. But of course, that let's start to read we got Babylon Timbuktu. Somebody got Babylon Timbuktu. Go to page 84. Go to the second paragraph, page 84. Of course, Vespasian and his son Titus, they were the ones who were immediately over the war against our people, and they destroyed our temple. No, the temple was destroyed in 1780, but they slaughtered a lot of our people, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. Page 84, the second, yeah.
From Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84, second paragraph. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish estate.
Right. So this resistance I'm speaking on right now, this lasted like 8 years. From 66 or from 65 BC, I'm sorry, from 65 AD rather, to 73 AD. Understand? So actually to the point that in 70 AD they destroyed our temple. But it was a process of 4 years. And then they slaughtered a lot of our people. Read on.
To the Jewish estate with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period of Pompey to Julius.
From Pompey to Julius, Pompey was from when? No, after the Greek. Pompey was 63 BC. Pompey was came into occupy our land when we invited them in to help us when one faction invited them in to help them against internal affairs, with internal affairs. That was 63 BC. Yeah. Read.
It had been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery.
So from that point on, since the time that Pompey came into Jerusalem, from 63 BC up until 70 AD, over 1 million of our people fled from Roman persecution into the west coast of Africa, into different parts of Africa. Honest? You got scripture?
I think when you got Luke, and now we should prophesy that what happened.
Oh, that. We're gonna get it there. Luke 19?
Yeah, Luke, I think it's Luke 21:20. It says that. Yeah, Luke 21:20.
There you go. Let me get that.
The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 20. The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst.
Hold on, we're gonna get it in a minute.
You wanna go back?
Yeah, go back. Yeah, we're gonna get yeah. Go back to Tom. Go back to the.
During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
Right, so a lot of people, man, to escape from Roman persecution, they run up in the west coast of Africa, different parts of Africa, really, and some of them were it was auctioned off, man. It was auctioned off to different nations in the Roman, different nations outside the Roman Empire, and within the Roman Empire, the different so-called slave owners. That's what happened. Understand? So our people in 66 BC, 66 AD rather, when the Roman invaded our temple looking for these riches, because the people didn't want to pay the taxes. Understand? That caused our people to say, hey, we can't go for this. So they rose up against the Romans. And they started resisting against the Romans to the point that they defeated the Romans who were in Jerusalem at that time. So the Romans had to send for backup from Syria. The Romans in Jerusalem had to send for backup from Syria, which is, remember, the Roman Empire was large. Syria was part of the Roman Empire. Understand? Because they were the major superpower at that time. And they came down and they put an end to an uprising which is going on in Israel, in Jerusalem, and around about. But there were some of our people who were able to escape. From the Syrian resistance, from the Syrian reinforcement. Where did it go? To find the way to the Masada. That was the last holdout against the Romans. Masada, that this fortress, this palatial fortress that Herod had built years ago during his time. Because there were Romans there also, but what did they do? They killed the Romans who were there. So this group of most of our people said, you know what? Let's give up. They're destroying us. Well, of course, there's always a remnant of our people who are putting up a major resistance, and they had a name for those people. That's you know what they call those men? Those are you mentioned that to me. You wanted to go somewhere. Sakari.
Yeah, the Sakari.
Sakari. You know they had a street name back in because people say street name. Yeah. And they call them also Dagger Man. Dagger Man. They used to have it was you used to blend in with the crowd. They have darker and nice, whatever.
Sassy.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, sassy, yeah. And they would discreetly kill their enemies, even enemies of Israel, the ones who would consider sellouts and all that. And they would consider the Romans, they were like assassins. That they would kill them and just bend right back in the cut as if nothing happened. That's how they roll back in the day. Yeah. It's the Sikaris. That's how they roll back in the days. What you gotta do?
Did they commit suicide?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, Sikari. So that was estimated to be like 1,000 of them who escaped from the main population of our people, and they slew the Romans who were in the Masada fortress and took over the fortress. And with the intention of this is gonna be we're gonna make a stand right here. We're gonna put our resistance against the Romans right here. Now let's go to Luke 21.
The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Right. So Jerusalem was going to stand compassed round about with armies because the Romans was all over Jerusalem. They were all over because they separate. When our people stood up against the Romans for invading a temple, the Romans said, we can't have and defeated them. We can't have this. Because if the word goes out that these people can defeated us, that's going to be the end of our rulership. So they sent for reinforcement from other parts of their empire, specifically Syria, to come down to quell our resistance. And so to the point that they put an end to the resistance, except for the ones of us, the Sikaris, who escaped to Masada, the fortress of Masada, the same palatial fortress that Herod had built years ago. Now our people were using that for their own purpose. Understand? You following that? Okay. So this is basically after 66 BC, AD rather, 66 AD. You see, it's the year. It's after the march of Yahweh, says AD. And read on.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Right. So anybody in Judea, flee to the mountains. Where was the mountain? Where was the Masada? In the mountains, in the desert. In the desert, right around the Dead Sea. Exactly. Just southwest of the Dead Sea. Understand? But it was a mountainous area. It was like what was it 1,300 feet above sea level up in the mountains. It was a very flat area up in the mountains. I guess maybe that's why Herod chose that particular location to build his fortress. So go right on.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Right. So anybody in the countries don't come back to Jerusalem. Because the Romans are here, they're slaughtering our people. So if you're here, flee to the mountains, flee to Masada, flee to the outskirts of Israel and get away as far as possible from this. Because what? They're slaughtering our people.
This is the migration pattern of Israel being to Africa.
Okay, so that, see the arrows pointing to the west coast? Right, see that right there? Oh, this is the Red Sea right there. It's the Red Sea. See the arrows going westward. So basically, all the arrows you can see going straight west, going straight northwest, and going north Ashanti, Yoruba, and the other different tribes of the Sahara. Sahara Desert. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So yeah, that's different. Mostly the pattern of people fleeing from our homeland to different parts of Africa, most particularly to the west coast of Africa. Read.
Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance.
These be the days of vengeance. Days of vengeance mean what? The Romans are going to take vengeance upon us for resisting against their the tyranny, their oppression of us. So you mean that's what that's talking about? All those are prophecies, man. The Mashiach Yahushua prophesied that those things would take place. Understand? And immediately, just a few years after he left us, those things came to pass. Read.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land.
Of course, when a woman is with child or a young baby, she's less mobile. She's more, susceptible to any kind of, the violence, whatever, because she's more vulnerable. They're more vulnerable. So she's less able to defend herself and all that, because for protect a young mother is, safe by nursery and all that, nursing and all that. So it's of course,
And to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Right.
And shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right. So that's what the prophecy right there. The Mashiach Yahushua said, right, Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, the nations, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. What does that mean, the time of the Gentiles?
Their rulership.
Yeah, the rulership. Understand? Even to this point in time. Of course, the time of the Gentiles aren't fulfilled yet. We're coming up to the fulfillment of the time of the Gentiles, but as long as we're still here in captivity, the time of the Gentiles aren't fulfilled yet. It's about to be fulfilled. We see evidence of it in the process of being fulfilled, but it's not there yet. Understand? So into this point, we're still in our captivity for our disobedience to the Most High. Read a little more. No, go back. Where were we? Okay, so right. So at this point in time, now give me also Luke 19. Give me also Luke 19. 1941. Luke 1941. Which is basically the follow-up of this. Luke 1941.
The book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 41. And when he was come near, he beheld the city, and wept over it, saying, if thou hast known, even thou, at least in thy day.
That's a magic Yahushua. When he came into the city, he wept over it. Read.
The things which belong unto thy peace.
Read 42 again.
Verse 42, saying, if thou hast known, even thou, at least in this thy day.
Yahushua said, if only you knew, even you, at least in your time, read,
the things which belong unto thy peace.
The things which belong unto your peace, the things which you have to do to have peace in your time, read.
But now they are hid from your eyes.
But they are hid from your eyes. You don't even know what you need to do for you to have peace. Because right now, this is not a time of peace. It's going to be war. In your time, it's going to be war. It's going to be time of vengeance, which you just read in Luke 21. But you must always warning them, say, yo, if only you knew what's going to happen to you guys. If only you knew what you have to do to prevent this from happening to you. Only know how much you have to keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. But which you aren't doing. Read.
Verse 43. But though for the days shall come upon thee.
But the days shall come upon you. Read.
That thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee.
For your enemies shall cast a trench about you. What does it mean, your enemies shall cast a trench about you? A trench. It's like a trench. Like you live in a certain community or certain neighborhood, and there be a trench run about you to besiege you. To be the siege around like a wall around you. I mean, you can't go out. Nobody can come into you to supply you with food or drink or whatever, and you can't go and go shopping to get anything. So whatever you got up in there, as soon as that food runs out, that's it for you. It's hard, you know. And that happened to people even back in the time of the Assyrian, the Persian, the Medes, and Babylonian captivity. Where we have to read about the Book of Kings. To the point that we have to resort to cannibalism, and we have to eat our own children. The woman of our nation had to say, okay, whose child are we going to eat today? Are we going to eat your child? I don't know if you have, I hope you have read the scriptures, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, they said, that's the only way to survive, because I mean, no food was coming in. They couldn't go out. The Assyrians, the Persian Medes, the Babylonians was besieging them. Because we went through a lot of things, man. This wasn't the first time this happened. At least we could say that, I mean, in the time of the Romans, we didn't go through all that where we resort to cannibalism, where we had to eat our children. But back in the time of the Babylonians, the Persians, the Medes, and the Assyrians, we did that. We get to the point out we were eating our children as a goat or a sheep or a cow as a means of food to survive. That's how hard it was. Understand? Read. Have somebody have a question? I'll read on. What you got?
Is that what you think Trump's trying to do now with the wall?
Trump, no, because that's a political maneuvering, you know what I'm saying? That's part of the that's just a Mosai using Trump to wake up people up anyway, to let us know who this guy really is, to let Issachar in particular know, because a lot of another tribes, I mean, didn't realize that they were people. Because if you check out the history of our people, a lot of the so-called Mexicans, the Central Americans, a lot of so there were a lot of black people was up in the places way back when. Understand? But even to this day, a lot of our people. It just when the Spaniards came, of course, whenever the Spaniards go, they push our people back to the docks. You know what I'm saying? Put them back. They put them back in the background and put the Spaniards' ancestors, descendants of the forefront. But a lot of people realize, just like Jeremiah says, chapter 50, verse 33, Israel and Judah were oppressed together. Understand? But right now it's not evident to a lot of our the northern kingdom people, especially Central America. They know they're going through some things, but they don't know that we are the same people. That's what it is. They're going through some things, obviously, you know what I'm saying? But they don't know that we are the same people. So there's gonna be some common ground, commonalities where we see, hey, we go through the same things. I mean, all the scriptures are let us know that. Read on. Luke.
The book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 43. For the day shall come upon thee, that thine enemies should cast a trench about thee, and compass thee around, and keep thee in one, and keep thee on every side.
Right, so that's what the enemies to cast a trench about us and keep us on every side. You know what? They got to encircle. We can't go nowhere, and they got to totally circle us on every side. We can't. Nobody can come into us, and we can't go out. So it's a matter of time. When our food supplies run out, then that's gonna be it for us. Read.
And shall lay thee even with the ground.
It shall lay you one what? Bring it down, destroy you, slaughter you to the ground. Read.
And thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another.
Right. So as we go on, that's exactly what happens on Sodom. Understand? So I like the ones that us, the Scary, understand, the one who organized the resistance, the last stance, the last defiance against the Romans. Understand? To go to Masada, the fortress of Masada, to hold out against the Romans. So what was about this? According to the historian Josephus, it was about 1,000 of Josephus, the historian. I don't know if any of you read his books. He was born about 30 AD. Understand? He was a general also in Israel. He was in charge of a part of a military in Galilee, which was the northern part of Israel. In the northern part of Israel, he also went through a situation. Where they were holding out against the Romans, and they decided, according to historical records, they decided to hey, we're gonna have a suicide. We're gonna have a suicide. I think we're not gonna give it to the Romans. So there were basically two groups of people who decided we're not gonna give it to the Romans. We'd rather kill ourselves, and we're gonna draw a straw and say, okay, we're gonna kill ourselves, and the last person who's standing there, then he gonna kill himself. According to history, he happened to be the last person, but he didn't follow through with his with the decision that was made that he should kill himself. After everybody else died, he participated in the suicide killing of the other Israelites in Galilee. He didn't kill himself. He decided, you know what? I think it's best that I'm alive. So what did he do? He turned himself over to the Romans. To the Romans, and he wasn't there. He was in Galilee. He wasn't there at Masada. So whatever account is given of what happened at Masada, it came from a third party. At Masada, it happened to be there were 5 survivors at Masada. I think they were like 3 children and 2 women, something like that, who hid. They hid when the suicide thing was going down in Masada, when they decided to say, well, yeah, we're not going to turn ourselves over to the Romans besieged us. The Romans besieged them. They had they built the trench around them and all that, and they besieged them. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what? we're not going to give it to them because it was very difficult. It was very difficult for the Romans to actually to just walk to the fortress. So they had to build a ramp from the ground, which is like the ramp was like 200 meters extending up, 200 meters from the ground, extending up to the top of the fortress. Understand? So when the Romans actually used our own people who were sold to slavery, who they had captured, which is about 10,000 Hebrew Israelites. 10,000 Hebrew Israelites to build a ramp, to build the ramp and the trenches and all that around the fortress to prevent our people from going out. Of course, our people have put up some kind of resistance, firing arrows at them and all that. But of course, no matter of time, you know what I mean, they're running out of ammunition, so to speak, running out of food or energy. And the Romans was building that ramp, and they were using battering rams and all that, weapons of war, machinery, and they were plummeting the structure, the walls around the fortress, trying to weaken the foundation and all that. So to the point that when the resistance was weakened, and they eventually went up in there. They went up in there in a rush, thinking that they was gonna confront an army. But when they went up in there, it was dead silence up in there. Why? Because our people realized that hey, we're overwhelmed. So totally it's thousands of them. It's thousands of them. There's no way we can survive. And if they capture us, and if they invaded us, what are they going to do? They may kill some of us. Of course, they're going to ravish the women. And the children are going to grow up in slavery as second-class citizens. And the men also are going to be in hard bondage in slavery, just like the 10,000 Israelites who they use our own people to build the ramp to kill their own people. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. That's what they did. I say, you know what I'm saying about they. That's the most vexing, that's the most frustrating thing. That's the most vexation spirit right there. Knowing that you're being used by your enemies to slaughter your own, to bring about the demise of your own people. That's what they did. But they had no choice, otherwise we were put to death. What was that?
That's them coming to Masada to evade the Jews are there.
Right.
They threw in that one Jake right there. They threw in that one Jake right here.
Right.
That's probably Josephus.
See that? Exactly. So you know what I mean? Because there were people that had already committed suicide, you know what I mean? Except for the 5 that were able to hide. I think 3 women or 2 children, or two women and 3 children, something like that. There was somebody that were able to escape. I guess they were the ones who were able to give partial account of what happened, because if they were in hiding, they couldn't hear everything was going on. Sure. So while the mass suicide was going on, or mass murder was going on, they weren't immediately in the vicinity, because they were back somewhere hiding. I mean, but of course, they were privy to some information, so they knew, they have an idea what was going on. So that's what they realized, of the imminent danger hit themselves. And let's get me Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32, verse 16. And this whole process took about 8 years, from 66 BC, 66 AD rather. I mean, it got 8 years of that. That's about 74, somewhere around 74 AD, somewhere around that. Deuteronomy 32:16.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abomination provoked they him to anger.
Right. That's what our people did. Provoked the Most High to jealousy with strange gods, man. Worshiping the gods of the other nations. From way back there, from the time in Egypt, even to this very day, we always did that. It was always some of our people. No matter how much the Most High did for us, no matter how well the Most High treated us, no matter how many times He brought us out of captivity from under the other nations, we always go back. We always go back to our worshiping the gods of the other nations. Right?
They sacrificed unto devils, not to the Most High, to powers who they knew not, to new gods.
Right. We sacrifice to devils, not to the Most High. The powers who we knew not, but not to the Most High. We were supposed to make sacrifices to the Most High, but instead we made sacrifices to who? To the devils, to the gods of the other nations. Right?
That came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
Our fathers didn't fear those idols because our fathers knew better. Our fathers are witnesses of the great things that the Most High did for our people, for our nation. So our fathers knew better than to worship the gods of the other nations and idols that men made. Read.
Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful.
Of the rock that begot us, we are unmindful. Who's the rock that begot us? The Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua. What? We are unmindful of them. We have a regard for them. They're not in our immediate consciousness. I'm saying we don't think about them. We're just living our daily lives with a regard to our history, our ancestry, our heritage. You know what I'm saying? Of the things our forefathers went through, of the things that the Most High did for us. Read.
And has forgotten the power that formed thee. And when the Most High saw it, he abhorred them.
And the Most High saw that's how it was. The Most High abhorred us. And I said, I can't believe this people. Look what I did for them. I brought them to the Red Sea. I brought them over the River Jordan. I brought them to a land filled with milk and honey. And they slaughtered nations that was mightier and more plenteous than them. And they had a regard for me. So the Most High abhorred us. Basically, despised us. Read.
Because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them, and I will see what their end shall be.
Right. So the Most High said, you know what? When they pray to me, I'm not going to even listen to their prayer. I'm going to just sit back and watch what their head should be. Read.
For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not no God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
Right. That's what the Most High provoked us to anger with a foolish nation. That's what's going on right now. Being provoked to anger with a foolish nation, man. The so-called white men and the heathens. We see them in the rulership. So the scripture says, oppression make a wise man mad. Read.
For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend mine arrows upon them.
Right, I will heap mischiefs upon them. Masada is a major mischief that the Most High heaped upon us, man. Understand? We were in a sovereign nation. We had our, self-rulership. We didn't appreciate that. We didn't battle in the heathens. Trusting the enemies, man. You can't trust the enemies. Man. The enemies came in and said, hey, you know what? You look weak. You look vulnerable. I think we can take over. Especially if you saw that the enemy was already taking over the nations. What made you think that they were going to come and be chummy with you, be friends with you. Without the price. Read.
They should be burnt.
See that right there? That's a ram going up there. See that ram? See it right there? It's set from the base, going up. That's a ram whereby they're gonna, move from the lower part to the base, which is the Dead Sea. So to the plateau, the top of the mountain where they were hiding out. Understand? But and our people seen that they were cornered and our food supply was running out, and they decided to do what they did. Right? We are.
Verse 24. They shall be burnt with hunger and devoured with burning heat and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with poison of serpents of the dust.
Like the rest of you?
I'm on 24.
24, okay, we are.
Verse 25. The sword without and the terror within should destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs.
Right, so all in the suicide murder pact agreement, that there were men of valor, there were women, there were children, there were elderly, there was a combination of all age group and of people. Men, women, children, and elderly. Right? All of them died right there in that siege. In that siege. Read on.
Verse 26. And I said, I will scatter them into corners.
That's what's happening right now. That's why we see a lot of people waking up to the four corners of the earth. Every time if we go on YouTube, punching Israel, you can see Israelite groups or Israelite communities that have various parts of the earth. Which means you gotta ask, how did they get there? How did they get there? You see it in a mass community. It's not like individuals. So how did they get there? The Most High scattered them. They were sold into slavery in abundance throughout history. Read.
I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
Right. This is the same thing as we read in Psalm 83. You shall make the remembrance of them to cease from amongst men. Why? Because the temple was destroyed, our government was destroyed, and our people were killed and slaughtered and sold to the four corners of the earth. So the nation of Israel was no more in remembrance. Understand? And the people of the region was given different names. That's why right now we got the so-called Jews over there, and got the so-called Palestinians, we got the so-called Arabs, you know what I'm saying, all the different factions of people fighting over a land which belonged to neither one of them. Understand? All those things according to the scriptures that we're reading right now. Over there in the land that belongs to us, but we're too ignorant to realize that that's our homeland. We don't know that that's the most I put the spirit of Esau to life to us anyway. See look at all these pictures you see up there. Look at them. Look at the pale face. And I say, you're not seeing the Israelites up there. Read.
Verse 27. For it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Most High hath not done all this.
Right, see? That's what enemies are saying. Read it again. Let me get a gist of that really quick.
Verse 27. Were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy.
Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy. Read.
Lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely.
Lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely. Read.
And lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Most High hath not done all this.
That's what the enemies are saying. They think that they brought us down. They don't realize that it's not them who brought us down. It's the Most High who brought us down. for disobeying him. The Most High brought us down because we disobeyed his laws, statutes, and commandments. Read.
Verse 28. For they are a nation void of counsel.
For they are a nation void of counsel. They are no, these nations, these so-called white men, the Arabs, and all these different nations, they are nations void of counsel. They haven't got the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. We had it, but we had no regard for it. We didn't appreciate it. But they never had it. They never realized that hey, it's the Most High who rose them up to the power that they have so they could take on Israel. Because the Most High used them to punish us. Right?
Neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider that their latter end.
Hold that they were wise, and that they understood this, and consider their latter end. What is their latter end?
Yes.
Get Revelation 13 and 9. Oh, that they understood this, and understood the latter end, and knew the latter end. If they understood this, maybe they wouldn't go so hard against us. They don't understand that whatever they do to us right now, they're going to pay for it. You could just like the Most High told Abraham before we were even a nation. The Most High said what? Know for certainty that the seed shall be, in captivity. Under the enemies for 400 years. But that same nation he will judge. Understand? So the Most High already wrote the script. The Most High wrote the script that what? We will be in captivity in Egypt for 400 years. And those same Egyptians that had us in captivity, the Most High was going to turn around and judge. And this modern day Egyptian, so-called white man, and the other nations who oppressed us throughout the course of these years, the Most High is going to judge also. If only they understood the latter end. If only they understood that whatever they do to us, they're going to pay a price for it. Maybe they will consider. Get Revelation 13 and 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
If they got an ear, let it hear. A lot of people out there, they got ear, but they ain't hear nothing. They ain't listening. They ain't paying attention to what's going on. Right?
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Understand? They let us in captivity. What's going to happen to them? We got to go into captivity. The Romans let us in captivity. The other nations who they sold us to, or who took part in the various slave trades, the transatlantic slave trade, the Sahara slave trade. Even to this day, you have slave trades going on. Right?
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. The sword is what? Represent what? Weapons of war. Given to the state, or people be slaughtered by the police for no apparent reason, other than the fact that what? The Most High is punishing us for our disobedience, but of course, Esau is going to be paying a price for the punishment that they inflict upon us. That's according to the scriptures. That's the latter end. If only they would consider the latter end, they would come to the realization that, hey, we are the people of the Most High. Now, the scholars knew, the top men knew, but if only they would pass that information down and bring about some, legislation or whatever, or policies to not oppress us that way, then I guess if the punishment wouldn't be double. It would be maybe 1.5, right? Together.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Understand? That's the patience and this and the get this Psalms 149. Let's stop it off of that.
149.
Yeah. That's the patience and faith of the saints.
Over 49 and 6.
Yeah.
The book of Psalms, chapter 149, verse 6. Let the high praises of the Other One be in their mouth.
Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth. We gotta praise the Most High continually, man. Read.
And a two-edged sword in their hand.
And a two-edged sword in their hand. It was a weapon of war. It's probably gonna be that way back on. It's probably gonna be that way again. You know what I'm saying? Of course it's gonna be bombs and all that dropping. But of course, the much Yahushua and the Most High said, we're weapons of war. You know what I'm saying? There's probably going to be swords in our hand again. Read.
To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Other One.
Right. So exactly, that's what's in the book right there. Bind their fetters, bind their nobles and kings with chains. That's an honor, man. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. Read under verse 40, and then go to Revelation chapter 12. Then we're gonna pitch up at that. One more?
No, I said give me a moment to find out where was that.
Okay, bro. Deuteronomy 32 verse, you find it verse. Verse 28, 29, somewhere around there.
All right.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 28. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight?
Right. How could one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight? That's how the Romans were able to chase us, man. Because, you know what I mean? They came into a land and just destroyed us like that. The Most High did that. The Most High empowered them, and the Most High weakened us because we disobeyed His laws, statutes, and commandments. But they don't realize that. The nations don't realize that. They think they did it of their own. Read.
Except their rock had sold them.
Their rock. Who's our rock? Mashiach Yahushua, Most High. They sold us. Why? They sold us because we disobeyed them. We disobeyed the commandments of the Most High. Read.
And the Other One has shut them up. For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, and the cruel venom of asps. Is not this laid up in store with me, and sealed up among my treasures?
What verse is that?
34.
Okay.
Verse 35. To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand. And the things shall come upon them make haste. For the Most High shall judge his people, and repay himself for his servant, when he seeth that their power is gone, and there is none shut up or left.
Right. Who's the Most High servant? He's God. Israel is the Most High servant. Right?
Right.
Read.
Verse 37. And he shall say, where are their gods, their rock in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices, and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help him, and be your protection. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
Can you get to Revelation chapter 12, verse 14?
book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and a times and half the time.
Right. And the woman is talking about Israel. We're given wings so we could go to a place which is the west coast of Africa to escape from Roman persecution. Where we should be nourished by the Most High. For over 1,500 years, while we've been escaping the Roman persecution, and became various communities in the west coast of Africa, until, of course, the Most High sent the Arabs and the so-called white men and the other nations to bring us to this part of the world, and call us slave ships, as per the transatlantic slave trade. Read.
From the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out his mouth water as a flood after the woman.
Yeah, we were nourished by the face of the serpent being the so-called white man. And the serpent cast out his flood. Read the part again.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water after the woman, that he may carry away of the flood. See that all those are philosophies and doctrines. All the scriptures we just read earlier to hide the fact from us that we're not the nation anymore. To hide the fact from us that we are Hebrew Israelites. That's what when you see all these documentaries and TV shows and even videos and TV of so-called white people representing us and all that. So we don't know that, hey, we are those people. All those people not knowing. You're not reading about these things in colleges or in high schools. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know about this history. It's not being taught to us. This is just something that we learned when we came into the knowledge of this truth. But this is not everyday information that our people are privy to. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's been hidden from us. Understand that's how that's how the flood is being cast out to try the information from us. Read.
And the earth held the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
And the earth held the woman. The woman, remember, the woman is Israel. You can read it all out of chapter 12, Revelation. See the woman with 12 stars upon her head. 12 stars in the 12 tribes of Israel, the woman being the nation of Israel. And the earth held the woman, meaning what? The archaeology. The archaeological information. Understand the evidence of that. Because right now all those things are evidence of all those things are right there in the land of Israel. You can see replicas, you can see information, you can see remnants of all those things of Masada. You can see the foundation and all that. You can see the rocks and all those things like that. That's all those are archaeological evidence to help the woman which is Israel to substantiate the fact that hey, those things happen, and that's our history. That's what that's talking about. So we can further solidify our belief and our knowledge that we are the Hebrew Israelites and those things happen to us. And that's our heritage, and we got to come back to our nationality and our heritage to keep the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. And that. Is there more on that?
One more verse.
What verse here? What verse is right?
16.
Yeah, read 17.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Right, that's what's going on right now. The dragon, the so-called white man, they're wroth with the woman, which is Israel, and they want to make war with the remnant of her seed. And they've been making war with the remnant of the woman's seed, which is Israel, from the 1600 to this very day. Wrath, slavery, discrimination, police brutality, all those things those are evidence about the woman, of the devil being wroth against the woman, the remnant of the woman's seed. We are the remnant of the woman's seed. We are the remnant, meaning what's left, understand, of Israel. And they're wroth with us. So we got to stand firm in this truth, solidify our belief in the Most High. I mean, and endure to the end. But so much thou shalt. At that time. And with that, I'm going to say shalom to water, Yasharala, to all of our brothers and sisters on live stream, YouTube, online, listening to us. I'm going to say, you're welcome again to tune in tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time to a Sabbath service. And also at 8 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time to our new moon service. Shamash Dawsha. With that, I'm going to say, Amadim Wapanya, Yarashalam, stand face Jerusalem. Mashiach Falat. What are you want me to read or are you gonna read?
No, I'll read it in English.
I'll read it you. Mashiach Falat. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim, Kadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahawa, Malakwata, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Rataza, Ashamayim, Natananawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Yawabwatnawa, Wasalaknawa, Yawabwatnawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Wanasayawan, Abal, Awashanawa, Manrai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Baha'ala, Bahata Pa'ara, Bahawalam, Bahasham, Amashiach, Bahawashan, Tawar, Aman.
Lord's Prayer in English. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come out, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Bahashem Mashiach Yahushua, Ta'alat Miyad. Amen.